All right, we good. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tuned into the illest sports podcast out on these streets. Numbers on the board, hosted by your man Kill, my man Big Fish. What's going on, Playboy?
What's going on, baby? Ready for another great show?
Yeah, man, your joint is crazy low. You think
Uh,
you think you could get mixed book MacBook?
Hold on a second. Let me go grab her joint. Hold on for a second.
All right,
Let me hit you back in five.
all right.
All right.
Yes, beautiful. We can get started. Let me show you.
Would you want to do a show by yourself? For like with mommy and you guys just talk? If you don't even have a topic, you just talk.
Think they stepped on boots.
Sorry, Bootsy.
They stepped on boots. These joints.
Oh, they don't look that good. They don't look good. I think the ones in my book look good. Not my book, my doll.
Yeah, it just made me think of that when I saw it.
You know which ones he had?
Yeah, these.
Maybe he thought they were cool.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
Like $1,000,000. Can you just put a teddy bear on your shoe?
Yeah, but it's because I think it's a certain designer um, named Jeremy Scott who
Who's Jeremy Scott?
who's what?
Who's Jeremy Scott?
He's a fashion
Who?
designer.
You wanna hear something?
Yeah, what's up?
I am a lion.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're a Black Panther.
Okay. Pew.
You a silly
I don't know
girl.
how panthers act.
Just like lions and tigers.
Boo! Like that.
Yep, you're not scary though.
Yes, I am. Ready? Boogie, 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 boogie.
You stupid.
Let me help you.
Thanks. So, baby, you didn't want to see the Bye Man? Did you want to watch the rest of them? I'm gonna show you. I gotta show you like how. Oh, you can't be seen. Um,
person, but watch what's going to happen. Toilet port. It's the same person. Technology at its finest.
Buenos días, los internetos. Buenos días.
I'm just making sure that y'all all your relationships, y'all being committed to your girlfriend. And if there's another shorty you want to talk to, we young, so we don't even need a girlfriend.
Nah, you should give me some tips.
That's true. Y'all should just date. Y'all should just date. I didn't say back. I just said date. And see what you and see what you like. You know? Wow. And that's what you need to do.
But what do you think I should do, bro? Like, so avoid any girl from coming in.
Here's the thing. You can't avoid that. You can't avoid that. You gotta let your girl know I'm with you. It's just me and you. These other chicks that I'll be playing with. That's not. You may need to stop playing with them. That is if you want to make your girl happy. Because any type of relationship is about giving and taking. Now, at y'all age, y'all don't need to be giving and taking. But my thing is, don't be in a relationship. Right. So you don't trust. Yeah, yo, yo. What's wrong with the Mac John? Word? Nah, you shouldn't have to download nothing for this. Yeah. All right, bet. Hold on, I'll try it right now. All right.
Yo,
There you go.
hold on. Yo, how you got me now?
It's perfect, babe. What'd you do different?
I had to tell this shit to connect to my iPhone or some shit. Some
Uh-huh.
button. Shit. All right, let's go. Let's get at it.
All right, let's make it happen. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tune into the live dopest. I'm all over the place. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tune into the dopest podcast out in these streets. Numbers on the board. Hosted by your man, Kill, my man, Big Fish. What's going on, Playboy?
What's going on, baby? How you feeling?
Man, everything's good, man. Been a minute since we chopped it up, so let's dive right into it. What you got on tap for us first, man?
Let's talk about the East and West All Stars. So we're
All right.
approaching the halfway mark of the season. All Star break is right around the corner. So give me your starting five for the East and West NBA All Stars.
All right, now the people I pick gonna be they ain't gonna be your normal people that the rest of these folk gonna pick. I got John Wall, and I got my man Isaiah Thomas in the backcourt.
Okay.
That's my backcourt. I got the dude whose name I ain't gonna call the boy the Greek Freak, whatever the boy name is, out in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Got him. Of course, I got Bron, and then I got Embiid. That's my.
That's your starting five. You know what's real funny? I said this year, I don't want to go with the common names. I want to recognize those guys who truly have an all-star season. And surprisingly, our starting five is very similar. I went with Isaiah Thomas. He's averaging like 25 points a game.
Yeah, dude is balling.
He's balling. He's flat out balling. I went with Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
And then I went with the Greek Freak, LeBron, and Embiid. So we kind of went chalk, except for Jimmy Butler and John Wall. And I actually considered John Wall. John Wall is an interesting case, man. John Wall, he falls into that Carmelo category where no matter how good of a season he's having, you always got a fucking issue with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just you can never totally fully appreciate him. He's a hard player, but his numbers this year speak for itself.
Now tell me this. With Wall, do you think it's just there's so many other dope point guards in the entire NBA that his name really doesn't ring bells like that? Because he's a dope player.
You know what? He's a dope player. I don't know if his campaign to be recognized as a dope player kind of rubs me the wrong way. I guess, because he's actively campaigning, to be considered amongst the better players instead of kind of letting it happen organically. I don't care what he says. The issues between him and Bill and some of the comments he's made about his contract and stuff like that definitely rub me the wrong way. But in terms of on the court, he pretty much brings everything you want in a leading type point guard, except for the consistent outside shooting. Other than that, though, you're talking about 10 assists, 22 points, 4 or 5 rebounds. He plays defense when he's focused, but for some reason, there's just something missing with that kid. It just doesn't connect, not only with the Washington Wizards, but with just NBA fans as a whole.
Right. It just seems like the boy's name is, anytime he goes to try out for the Olympics, he's never going to make it just because you already, you behind Chris Paul, you behind Steph, you behind Russ, you behind Kyle, he's always it seems like he just happens to be if you get in your top 5 point guards, he's always like number 6.
Yeah. He's always going to be number 6. And we didn't mention Damian Lillard. He's another name you add to the list, and then you got to think about there's 4 or 5 young bulls coming into the league in the next couple of years at the point guard position who going to make some noise early on. So you're right. I think ultimately, like I said, his whole campaign and he went Nike to give him a signature shoe and all that type of stuff. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, yo, stop worrying about your brand and your image so much and just play ball.
No, I agree with you. And the funny thing is, when you brought up the boy, I always forget about Isaiah Thomas because even though I'm in DC, I don't pay no attention to the Wizards. But it seemed like Isaiah Thomas' name is ringing bells, and I don't watch the Celtics, but it's not like Wall's name rings any bells, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, definitely, with Boston's, Boston's it's a premier city. It's a marquee city. It's definitely a city to have a good NBA franchise in. And let's face it, I mean, he's really worked on his craft and built his game up to the point where he's dropping 25 points a game, and you can't ignore him no more. I mean, Boston is a team, Kill, that if they can just land, ironically enough, Kill, I mean, it just hit me. If Boston really could trade for like a Carmelo, they have all of the role players, the complementary players, and the one quasi star in Isaiah Thomas. They really just need that one guy who could get them that bucket in the clutch moment, like Melo. Like if Melo is willing to go there and play defense, I actually think Boston is a great destination for him. The more and more I think about it.
It's funny that you bring that up. I was going to bring that up later, but with the whole New York fiasco going on, I was going to ask you where's the best situation for Melo to end up, and you said it, Boston, right there, because he ain't going to Cleveland. Cleveland is that Bron ain't messing up that chemistry. Like keep that pipe dreams for when we on vacation with us playing together. You ain't messing up what we got here, and I really don't see him going to the Clippers. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, it seems like whenever you talk Melo, you got to talk Lala too. So it's like, oh, well, if we could get him to the Clippers, then Lala be happy. It's LA, whatever. You play with Chris Paul, maybe a couple of years, Bron come over. But I like the Boston look, man. I like
the Boston look too. The more I think about this, Kill, Boston wouldn't even need to trade either Al Horford or Isaiah Thomas to make it work because they have enough players there, enough pieces and future draft picks to put together a package. Look here, New York, they're not going to get dollar for dollar on the trade for Melo. However, if you can get back 40 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, get you a couple pieces, maybe a pick or two that you can use to build around Porzingis, that might be a very good look for you. Now, you gave me your 5 starters for the East. Give me 1 or 2 players. Who would be your top 2 or 3 reserves coming out the East?
I gotta go with the alumni with UConn. I gotta go with Kemba Walker. He's balling. I think Kemba kind of falls in the John Wall category. He may just crack the top 10 of point guards, but just the league is so guard heavy. And then let me think. Oh, man, you kind of stumped me. You know what? I'll go with your boy. I'll go with Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go with him.
I had a couple of names. I obviously had the Philly cat, Kyle Lowry, who's had a really strong season up in Toronto. I had DeRozan, had his backmate. And then I had Paul George, Porzingis, and I had Hassan Whiteside on there as well. So just a few players out there that just kind of fill out the roster. Now, what about the East?
DeRozan is hooping, man. He is hooping, man.
You know what? DeRozan is hooping. My only reservation about DeRozan is he's such a one-way player, and even his one way, he doesn't really have a fully formed offensive game. Like he's a lethal 18-foot in drive and dash player. He's definitely lethal. Look here, he's dropping 25 points a game, but he's shooting like 20% from threes. I mean, that's just that's atrocious. I mean, there's grandmoms who can shoot better than that. You know what I mean? So. But definitely from 20 feet in, his ability to cut to the basket, his ability to create, his own shot is definitely a plus for him. And like I said, he's averaging 25 points a game. I got to show him some love. So, I mean, I think him and Lowry definitely, they're both definitely deserving of it. I'm not totally sure that both will make it.
Yeah. I know the Mo Lowry's never getting a pass from what he did last year with me. That nigga could cure cancer, and I'm not rocking with dude, man. when he needed his mental break in the middle of the game, you're never coming back from that with me. Like I know we live in the internet age and Twitter. You forget about what happened yesterday. I ain't never forgetting that, man. I ain't never forgetting D'Angelo Russell snitch, and I ain't never forgetting Kyle Lowry needed a mental break in the middle of a playoff game.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers are going to be in the market for a point guard. Would you forgive him and sign him as a free agent this summer?
You know what, to be honest with you, B, I don't know enough about the Bulls game like that. Like, I mean, I know he went to Nova. I know he's from the crib and everything like that. But, I'd rather take – once we get Ben back, I'd rather take my chances on a boy like Lonzo Ball. I'm big on dude right now. I've been watching some Washington games before. I think his name is Fultz.
Yep.
I want to check out some NC State games because I've been hearing their point guard is supposed to be nice. But I'm liking Ball right now for what he is out there at UCLA, man. I really do.
I'm telling you, I disagree with you, and here's why I disagree with you.
About getting Laurie?
About getting Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
I love Lonzo Ball. I love him as a player. He's a poor fit for the Sixers.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the offense is going to flow through Embiid and Simmons. So your point guard, I don't need a non-shooting point guard on this team. I need a point guard. I need a point guard who can almost shoot the rock like a two guard. So for me personally, it's important to draft that point guard who's going to get me 10 or 11 assists, because that point guard is not going to have the ball in his hands like that. So, I mean, there's rumors being floated out there right now about the Sixers possibly bringing back Jrue Holiday. He, not saying he is the player, but he has that type of game that would fit nicely in this system. But if I'm the Sixers looking at the draft, my number one target is going to be Malik Monk. Just a shooter. He doesn't have prototypical two-guard size, but, you know, obviously as an 18-year-old, he still has time to grow into his body. But I think more than anything else, right now, we need just a dedicated sniper on his team first and foremost. Because like I said, at the end of the day, Ben is going to have a ball in his hand. And then you're also going to have what's the name coming back from surgery next year as well. So
now Malik, that's the boy from Kentucky, right?
Exactly. The two guard from Kentucky. I think he was like Art.
You know, my problem with Kentucky guards is, and I was talking to my peoples on Twitter about this the other day, man. I look at Kentucky as the new Georgetown. They're the big man school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on any of their guards that come out of Kentucky. All these guards, when it was the Twins, the only one to me that has amounted as a good two guard is the boy Booker out in Phoenix.
I'm telling you now.
What's up?
Murray, put him on that list. He's definitely going to be a player. You're right. But now, let me ask you this, though, Kel. Traditionally, Cal hasn't recruited traditional two guards. He recruits super athletic two guards who are really very good shooters. Think about all the guards that have come through there, even at the 1 or 2. None of them have been drop-dead shooters. I mean, Booker and Jamal Murray was the first two players that when you looked at, you're like, okay, they are shoot-first, long-range sniper shooting guards. Falls into that same category.
Now, where the Jamal Murray even play at? I didn't even know the boy was in the league.
He plays for Denver. That's why you had me on the podcast, Kill, to keep you abreast of the young players doing things like this.
You know what, man? It's too many teams, man. Like, Denver is a wasteland. Like, if you hoop for Denver, I don't even know you exist anymore.
No, I mean, that's definitely a fair point. I mean, definitely the TV schedule can dictate the teams that we follow more closely. Right now, Jamal Murray's coming off the bench. However, the kid, ever since the start of the season, he's been getting more and more minutes. His production is going up. And once he's able to adjust his game to the speed of the game, because he's not a dynamic athlete. He's not one of these kids who has the 45-inch vertical and all those type of things. So once he adjusts to the speed of the game, he is going to be just a dominant two guard. I really do. I believe that. I believe he's going to be, in the mode of the Eric Gordon pre-knee injury, that type of player.
All right, tell me this. I'm hearing buzz that they want to run Ben Simmons at the point. I think that's a horrible idea. What do you think?
I think that, me and you love point guard play. We're cut from that cloth, from that generation. Stockton, Isaiah, Magic, Rod Strickland, Mark Jackson. We cut from that cloth. So when we hear point guard, that's what we think. We think traditional point guard. The NBA game has changed, Gil. The game has changed. Ben Simmons, from a distributing court awareness standpoint, is just like those point guards. Like, he's been bred from a young age. It's just a matter of, he's such a large individual that we're just not used to seeing that. You know what I mean?
Now, Because see, this is my thing is that I get it that he'll create mismatches, but are you going to switch him? Or are you going to do like what we did with Iverson and Snow and have Snow guard the two guard? I mean, play Iverson at the two, but have him guard ones because all them Damon Lillard going to breeze past Simmons every time down court. Russell said these super fast Jesse Owen point guards are going to leave him standing in his boots.
And you know what's going to be waiting for him, Kill?
Embiid.
7-2 Embiid back there to clean all that nonsense up. But, you're going to have a 7-2 Embiid. You're going to have a 6'10" Stark. You're going to have whenever else you add to this roster. You're right. You're going to have to treat him like an Allen Iverson situation where you have that 6'3", 6'4" player on the floor to stick those dynamic guards. However, for us as well. So we need to take advantage of that on the other end. So that's going to be part of Brett Brown's job is to make that work.
All right. I see that. Now tell me this: your West All-Stars, who you got starting?
I mean, I think at the guard spots, if you come up with anybody different, this podcast is over. I mean, the guard spot, you got to go Harden and Westbrook. I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. Small forward, I went Durant. Power forward, I went Davis. Center, I went DeMarcus Cousins. Now, I'm not necessarily picking these players by position per se, but that's what I went with. I mean, Harden and Westbrook are both having historic seasons, flirting with averaging a triple-double for the season. You can't overlook them. Durant, I mean, obviously Durant is doing what Durant does. He's 28 points, shooting 55% from the floor, 40% from threes, 90% from the line. He's definitely boarding better this year, 8.5 boards a game or so. And then Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, I need not say no more. Probably the two best big men in the game. Whether you want to consider them a power forward or a center in the game, probably.
All right. You already know what it is with me. Well, no, because you may think I'm gonna say somebody who I'm not. I'm thinking I'm gonna say somebody I'm not gonna say them. My backcourt is.
I'm not gonna say Draymond Green is your small forward. I know that, right?
Nah.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Westbrook and Harden.
Okay.
I'm going with Durant.
Okay.
I'm going with Anthony Davis though at my center, and I'm gonna go with Kawhi Leonard at my other forward position.
Okay. You can't argue with that. I mean, you're talking. I mean, it's so hard to put lists together, Kill. But when you talk about Kawhi Leonard, he's easily top 5 two-way player in the league. So
right.
I definitely can't argue with that. I mean, he's probably the best defensive player on the ball in the NBA. And now that he's fully embracing and unleashed his offensive game, I can't argue with that. So your list is pretty spot on. How about from a reserve role standpoint?
Oh man, my man Damian Lillard. You know me, man, in short point guards from Isaiah Thomas to Damian Lillard. I'm gonna have to throw Draymond in there, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to throw Draymond in there, man. One thing, man, and I mean I hate the kicking thing, man. I hate that whole kicking thing, and we'll talk about. Well, do you believe that that's some type of reaction or that's some type of knee-jerk reaction or something like that?
You trying to make it sound like the boy got a facial tick or something. He got Tourette's or something.
He's like the Grayson Allen to me of the NBA. So as much, and I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude who's like, yo, I like you, so I'm gonna make excuses for you. Like I wish Draymond would cut that shit out, like for real. You know what I mean? So, but what do you think when he's like, oh no, that's just a reaction? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Don't nobody else do that in the whole league but you.
That dude played at Michigan State for how many years? 4 years, right?
Right.
He was on TV 10 or 15 times a year. I ain't never seen that boy kick somebody. In about 60 games I saw him play at Michigan State.
Right.
Not once. So all of a sudden now he can't control it. No, I mean it's definitely something he can control. I think it's something that a player of his stature needs to do. It's childish. It's immature. It's classless. There's no need for it, and he needs to knock it out. The same thing with Grayson Allen. You know what I mean? I just think that there's no place for it in a game. And I don't know if it takes somebody getting a chin check to stop it, but I mean, he just needs to cut it out. But in terms of what he brings on the court, I mean, I definitely can't argue with that. His antics, it gets on my nerves sometimes, but he plays with that passion, and he plays with that chip on his shoulder, and he's had to. I mean,
Right.
he came into the league as an undersized power forward who couldn't shoot, so he had to play with that chip, and to his credit, he's made himself a player, so I can't knock that.
All right, what else you got on tap, bro?
Let's talk about MVP race. Once again, like I said, we at the halfway mark. Thinking about MVP, so give me the three big awards. Give me your MVP, give me your Rookie of the Year, and give me your Coach of the Year.
I'm gonna go with MVP.
So far,
I'm gonna go with Russell Westbrook,
okay.
MVP. I'm gonna go with Joel Embiid, Rookie of the Year. Coach of the Year, that's kind of tough for me, man. I could tell you who should not get Coach of the Year is Tom Thibodeau. I'm not a big Thibodeau dude. I think he's ruined Minnesota. I'm ready to get all these old school coaches out the league. They need to be put out the pasture. Him and Stan Van Gundy, they need to go. I know. I tell you who else ain't getting Coach of the Year. Jeff Hornacek, he ain't getting Coach of the Year. That's a good question. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like I said, I could tell you more about coaches who need to be let go than who's the Coach of the Year. God.
You know what? For me, I'm gonna go with Mike D'Antoni. I mean,
I'm not. You know what? I'm not mad at that.
I think it's about expectations. Coming to the season, if I told you, Kill, here we are, the halfway mark, and the Rockets are, sitting on a record of like 26-12, you'd be like, man, Fish, you bugging. Like, I don't know what's in the water out there in Souderton, but it's no way. But here we are at the halfway mark, and Houston is just 20 games above 500. And if I'd have told you they'd be 20 games above 500, and the only players they really added of consequence would be Eric Gordon and Anderson, who did almost nothing to make the Pelicans competitive, you'd have like, Fish, yo, I'm gonna take your NBA basketball cred from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're like, no, I think he's been able to, and then also, I think the Coach of the Year is D'Antoni, and then through this point of the season, my MVP will be Harden. But once again, between Harden and Westbrook, I mean, they're both doing things that we kind of knew and assumed that Westbrook would be doing what he's doing. I mean, I don't think we would expect the average triple double, but we kind of assumed that based on his usage rate, he would have this season. You know what I mean? Like, that was what we knew coming into.
And that's where my basketball card got to get pulled, because I didn't see this. When everybody was saying he was going to go off this year, I'm like, yo, in order to have assists, you got to have people who can knock down shots. And I didn't believe that his teammates. So it wasn't a knock on Russell Westbrook being able to do what he's doing. It was just I didn't believe in his teammates were going to be able to knock down those shots that they're knocking down. So my knock really wasn't on Westbrook. I knew he was capable of doing it. I just didn't think he would do it because of his teammates. And then Harden is the only reason why I have Westbrook ahead of Harden is just because, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I checked, Russell was still averaging a triple-double. And Harden wasn't. So that's the only reason why I have Russell above Harden, because, like you said, it's not like Harden has a whole bunch of, dudes running with him on his squad. I couldn't tell you who the starting five is.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, but definitely having Patrick Beverley come back healthy was a huge plus. Because let's face it, although a little bit more committed to playing defense this year, Patrick Beverley is definitely that player that can guard that dynamic point guard out there. So so like I said, I would definitely go D'Antoni Coach of the Year. I would go.
You said Harden.
Harden for MVP, and then Rookie of the Year. I think we agree on this, and I know this is one of the topics that you want to touch upon. I'm definitely going Embiid for Rookie of the Year, and I know one of the things that you want to touch upon was, do you think Embiid is the best center in the East? I think we need to change that question around and say, how much longer before he's one of the top players in the league.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. Yeah, I think with him, we have passed the point of, is he one of the best rookies? I think we've passed the point of, is he one of the best centers in the East? The question now is, look, based on the skill set that he's shown so far, is he one of the best players in the league? I mean, what he's been able to do, averaging 25 minutes, I mean, it's crazy, Kel. I mean, the guy is averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2.5 blocks
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
25 minutes a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he looks great, man. He looks great. I love his passion for the game. I love everything about the boy. You know, I'm happy that it worked out. More importantly, not just because he's, you know, with us, but just injury, man. I feel like this generation's, you know, players, a lot of the ending of our generation into this new generation have been plagued by just injuries. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
think about Brandon Roy, who was about to be a monster. You know,
Monster.
just the injury bug. So I'd be happy for Embiid wherever he was, just based off the injury. It just is the icing on the cake for him to be at the crib like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't. When I was watching the Jump the other day, nobody had him as the starting center in the league in the East, and I was kind of like, word, like y'all don't. I know y'all watch more games than I have time to watch, and y'all ain't seeing what this boy's doing. So
Yeah,
he's definitely the best big man in the East to me. Hype for Simmons to come back and see how that kind of works together. But I won't front, man. I'm getting kind of scared. We winning games, man. I want a good, nice high draft pick. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of on the fence about this.
The problem is this now. The problem is Embiid has bought into and believe that, he truly understands now that he's one of the best players in the league, and you don't want to turn that off.
Right.
You don't want to dead that. You don't want to dull that. You don't turn. The reality is Simmons comes back. He's gonna be on minute restriction. So it's not like Simmons is going to come back and play 40 minutes a game. The reality is, the NBA is a long season, 82 games. After the All-Star team, teams, hunker down a little bit more.
Right.
The pressure and intensity is ramped up a little bit more. So time will tell. I think ultimately you're looking at a Sixers team that right now is sitting at 14-26. So I mean, they would need to go on a 12-game win streak just to get to 500. So
right.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, they'll probably end the year in about that 25 to 26 win range. The Lakers pick is top 3 protected, so
right.
They'll probably have that pick. They'll have their own pick. So say they get pick number 5 and pick number 10 or something like that, they still can pick up 2 valuable pieces at that position. The reality is none of this matters because the hardest thing to get in the NBA is a star, and
right.
they have a star. So you have that. And if Ben Simmons is the player that we think he can be, now you have 2 stars.
That's true.
And that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of a thing to build on. Just real fast, Kel. Tonight, Sixers beat Toronto Raptors by 5 points. This is Embiid's stat line. He played 27 minutes. He shot 6 of 13 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3-pointers, which is huge considering he's a 7'2", 280-pound big man. He shot 12 of 14 from the free throw line with 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 assists, 26 points. I mean, this is from a kid who's only played 5 years of organized basketball. 5 years of organized basketball.
Right.
I mean, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
For sure.
True indeed, man. True indeed. Glad to see some excitement being in Philly, man. It's definitely good to see, man. No. We deserve it. We deserve it.
Now let's segue. Let's segue from excitement and let's segue to misery. if we were to jump on I-95 and head north to New York.
Wow.
Oh man. There's trouble in Gotham.
The crazy thing about New York is I always tell, because I got a whole bunch of people on Twitter who are Knicks fans, and I'm like, yo, the Knicks are my second favorite team in the league behind the Sixers. I mean, that to me, the 90s was all about New York, whether it be hip-hop or music or that Mason, Oakley, Ewing squad. I want the Knicks to be so good. I mean, I was talking to my man JR the other day, and I'm like, dude, like, why won't Adam Silver? Like, Adam Silver came in and cut out this buffoonery that was happening in Philly. Like, he stepped in and was like, this has to stop. I don't know why he doesn't do that for New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what?
this is the biggest city. Like, LA and New York are always supposed to be popping. The Garden is supposed to be like the Forum. I mean, and there's, it's always that beginning of the year, we got Derrick Rose, we got all, but then you just see it fall apart, with Jeff. I mean, and again, I don't want to get off topic. In fact, let me write this down and just remember this, but I just don't get some of the decisions. I mean, Jeff Hornacek as your head coach in New York City. Yeah. I'd rather you fucking go get Mousy from the Rucker Park to be the coach in New York City than Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah. Look at. There's a lot. There's a lot to dissect. Let's start with the top. If you're James Dolan, do you fire Phil Jackson today?
Yes.
And if so, why do you fire him?
I fire him because he's incompetent. I fire him because the nigga don't give a fuck. I fire him because he's a fucking he works from home. This nigga be in fucking Denver. Something like, dog, you gotta go. You just gotta go, bro. Like, this is not the job that you telecommute from LA or whatever like that. Like, dude is just a buffoon. I mean, to be honest, he got Porzingis, but I mean, it's not, like, yeah, he drafted him, but I'm just not giving Phil all those props. Like, because everybody's like, man, we could have got Porzingis. Everybody just pumped the brakes. Nobody knew Porzingis was going to be what Porzingis was. That's number one. To me, so I have nothing good to say about Phil for the 5 years he's been in NYC. You signed Noah to a $70 million deal. It's just, you got to get rid of dude, man. I mean, I don't understand these GMs. I mean, you hired Jeff Hornacek. Then you put who the white boy from the Lakers that he made in charge of defense?
White boy from the Lakers made in charge of defense.
Kurt Rambis. Now Kurt Rambis is your D. Come on, man. Like, it's like, who hires these GMs? Like, are these dudes? I get more competition out of a game of NBA 2K Live playing GM with them. Then it's like, that's what these dudes is doing. Like, I don't understand how whoever thought Jeff Hornacek was going to be a good fit as a coach. I don't get it, man. So, yeah, I fire Phil. Hell yeah, I fire Phil.
I mean, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Dolan hired Phil with the idea that he would be able to attract marquee free agents to the franchise. Phil was hired at a point where he did have to clear some bad contracts off the books that first year. However, they've been flush with cap space pretty much every year of his tenure, and he just hasn't been able to get it done. Obviously, I don't think Porzingis was his first pick on draft night that night, but the lottery fell the way it did, and obviously he took Porzingis, so I gotta give him credit. The reality is, the Sixers drafted Embiid. However, if it wasn't for his foot injury, we probably would have took Wiggins. So right. It's sometimes you got to be a little fortuitous and have things kind of work your way. But I definitely think Phil needs to go. Similarly, how I felt that Sam Hinkie in Philadelphia was the right person to hire to tear the Sixers apart. I didn't think he was the right one to build it back. I feel similar about Phil Jackson in that I don't think he's the right person to build this franchise back up. And partly for some of the reasons that you named. I mean, you can't do this job part-time. You have to be 150% committed to the organization. And I don't always get the feeling that Phil is, is all in on it. So let me ask you this. So your two biggest stars, for lack of a better term, is Carmelo and Derrick Rose. Do you trade both? Do you trade one of the two? Do you hold on to them and try to build around them? What's your thoughts?
Bro, the whole Derrick Rose situation, I don't even know where to start with that dude, man. I mean, it was I don't know where I would trade him just because I'm that type of bull, and I'm like, you don't do no nut shit, like, just don't show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just off GP. And to me, he's always going to have that asterisk by his, as good as he can start hooping, I feel like, and then tomorrow you can break your leg. So that whole level, but I guess if I come off my level of disrespect, do I keep? Now fuck him. He gotta go, man. That whole not showing up stuff don't flow with me, man. I don't care if you beef with the coach or whatever. It can't be no, it's game time and don't nobody know where you are. Get rid of D Rose. He still think he a star. With Melo, if Melo want to stay, fuck it, let him stay. But you can't run that triangle offense. Like that to me, that's my thing with the whole Phil Jackson thing. You're trying to run an offense that's very complicated. Like when Kobe is like, yo, I just took summers to just study. Ain't nobody on the Knicks fucking take no summer to study no offense. I mean, like I forgot I was watching some show and some chick, from college basketball, she was saying it's a very, we got to study, you got to learn it. It sometimes takes 2 or 3 years to get you. Man, you ain't keeping the same squad for 2 or 3 years. Whatever offense takes these new school 2016 players 3 years to learn, throw that out the window. Just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you want with, whatever. These dudes are not spending no time running through looking, painting, and that. Nah, dead. So I say keep Melo. I just think you need a different, you can't run the triangle. You know what I mean? But prayerfully, you fire Phil, you get rid of that whole triangle situation, bring you in Mark Jackson, and see what we could do with what's left. I don't know if you can get that Noah contract off the books, though, because who's taking that?
Yeah, no one's taking that contract, and that contract probably doesn't hurt you as much with the NBA salary cap exploding the way it has. I mean, that's definitely a contract that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it would be just a stifling contract. But and today, with today's salary cap, and the way it's going to explode another $20 million, I don't think that contract hurt you as much. The interesting thing about Derrick Rose, though, Kill, he's played 37 games so far. He's averaging 32 minutes. He's shooting almost 46% from the floor, 85% from free throw line. He's averaging 17.5 points, 4.5 assists, 4 rebounds, and only 2.5 turnovers. So, I mean, he's played almost every game.
Lost 12 out the last 13, right?
Yeah, they have lost over 13. But from a personal standpoint, it looks like he's kind of inching back, showing a semblance of that player we once knew.
Yo, the nigga didn't show up, B.
So going back to you, it could be that one moment you just can't forgive him, huh?
Yo, you at your wedding reception and the DJ just don't show up.
Right?
He don't text you, he don't call you, he don't give you no heads up. Everybody just sitting at the reception, sitting around drinking. Ain't no music. You got your iPhone hooked up to the mic stand. And like I said, this is just a stickler in me. Because I just feel like these new school players need to be punched in their mouth, and the best way to punch you in the mouth, send that nigga to Utah or somewhere. Go do you, man. I just can't get with that whole you not showing up stuff, man.
You're right.
And again, the numbers look good, and I think if this was Derrick Rose without all the injuries, I'd probably be more amped to say, you know what, all right, I forgive and forget, but. This is Derrick Rose when anytime this dude falls down, well, I don't think nobody's holding their breath no more. But as a GM or as the coach for that team, whoever has him is going to be holding his breath. So if this was Derrick Rose, no injuries, then probably, I forgive him. With the injuries, it's like, nah, my dude, you ain't even that dude no more. So you can't – if you was Derrick Rose before the injuries, then you was Iverson. Iverson could do that nut shit. But that ain't you no more. So it's almost like Iverson talking that practice stuff when he was in Memphis or when he was back in Philly for the second time. Like, dog, don't nobody want to hear that shit, man.
Well, let me ask you this then. Obviously, the trade market will only bring you back so much for a Derrick Rose. So you're not going to move a Derrick Rose for a mid or high first round pick or a person of value. So Melo will be the only chip that you can move that you can probably look to get some type of value for. So we talked about Boston. We talked about the Clippers. Is there any other team out there that you can possibly see the Knicks making a deal for Carmelo?
Well, I mean, with the whole thing with Melo, I mean, you're the stats guy. If I'm not mistaken, his no trade clause, he's already said the only 2 places he wants to go is Cleveland and L.A. So
okay, said that. Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Okay,
that's the hard part with the no trade thing. And with D Rose, if I'm not mistaken, he's only signed through this year, right? So he's
only signed through this year.
Yeah, so I mean, I say let D Rose walk, keep Melo, bring in a new coach, and just rock with what you got. I mean, when they started the season, it didn't look bad on paper, and I mean, I know it's a big difference on paper, but I mean, I wasn't mad at Courtney Lee. I like the ball with the Philly Beard, the backup center ball. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I mean, I say let's try it one more time, but you got to get the right coach. You got to get a coach in there. You know, I know you're big on Mark Jackson. Bring him in and try it one more year. But I tell you, I can't take no more. Is Melo gonna? I feel like these conversations are on Sports Center every year about Melo.
Yep.
Like it's like Groundhog's Day. Like, yo, we either got to trade him. And again, you're the stats guy. So when did these no trade clauses? Who has those? Is it just did Melo just have a banging agent?
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's not like in other sports, like in baseball, where no trades in baseball are commonplace. I think in the NBA, I think the first person that it was really talked about like that was Kobe Bryant's last contract.
Okay.
Get a no trade clause. So this is something Melo, fairly negotiated. Like I said, it's not standard practice in NBA contracts, but it was clearly something that he felt as though he might be in a situation like this where, a no trade might come in handy.
Right.
Kudos to him and his representatives for negotiating that, with the Knicks. So, like I said, ultimately it's a tough situation. I think Phil Jackson wasn't the right hire. I think Jeff Hornacek was an atrocious choice for a coach, not only for that particular team, but just in general. So I think a lot of work needs to be done there. James Dolan, he's willing to spend the money. Like he spends money. So getting him to write the check isn't the problem. Like just getting the right leadership in there to make sound decisions is the issue. So we shall see. So what's on your mind, brother? What you
Tell
got
me
for
this.
me?
Is Rondo done in the league? Because to me, anybody else giving the ball Rondo a chance, he's, you already see what he did in Dallas. You see Warriors welcome in Boston, Dallas, Sacramento, Chicago. Is this the last time we see Rondo?
He's done. This is it. Yeah, I think for all the reasons you just mentioned. I mean, he's had first, second, third, fourth, 15th chances, and the reality is, when the Boston Celtics were winning, and they were in their heyday, you tend to overlook certain shortcomings, and him being a difficult player and things like that. But now that his skills have eroded, the crazy thing about him, Kill, he's only 30 years old, which is amazing. I mean, he seems like he's 103, but he's only 30 years old. But I mean, here was a player that, huh?
He's only 30?
He's only 30 years old.
Wow, that's crazy.
But he was a player that, I mean, he turns 31 next month. So, but I mean, in his day, he was good for 13 points and 12 assists and 9 rebounds. I mean, he was that player. But
right,
I think at this point in his career, I mean, he can't shoot, which has always been an issue. He can't shoot free throws now, which is an even larger issue. He has to dominate the ball. He shows absolutely zero interest in playing defense after being one of the best defensive guards in the league. I mean, he was a first-time All-Defensive Player 2 years in a row, and the All-Defensive Player second team 2 other times. So here's a player who's All-Defensive first and second team 4 times in the league, who's just totally given up on playing defense. So I think for all the reasons mentioned,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. This is it. I mean, he may go to a Memphis to back up a Conley and play, spot 10, 12 minutes a game or something like that. I mean, he would have to go to a veteran team with a veteran presence that, he's not gonna go to Memphis and wild out with Zebo and Conley and Tony Allen and Marc Gasol. Like, those cats are gonna get him in line real fast.
But here's the thing. Do you any team outside of Memphis, do you as a GM even take a chance? Because you see he brings drama with the coach. You see
No.
all the drama this dude brings. He's not worth it. So outside of Memphis or a team like Memphis, you don't even take a chance on him.
No, he's toxic. He's toxic. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, maybe I would say maybe a Pop because of Pop's stature. However, Pop doesn't play the ball not moving type basketball. So
Right.
his style play doesn't fit the style offense that Pop's run. So
Yeah, Pop doesn't
yeah,
belong with Steven Jackson, so I don't see him doing the Rondo thing. So I don't see
there
that
you go.
going down like that.
There you
Now
go.
tell me this. Who do you see, if there's one person that you could see before this trade line getting moved, who is it?
Great question. I think Carmelo obviously will be somebody that if he chooses to waive his no trade clause. I mean, right now he's saying he wants to stay in New York, but you know how the New York media can be, Kill. If he has to answer this question 22 times a day for the next 10 or 12 days and through the All-Star break, at a certain point he's going to say, enough, I want out of here. I don't think Cousins will get moved. There are a lot of reports and rumors now that he seems to be amendable to signing an extension there. Although I had him on my list of players to be moved, I would say probably not at this point. So, from a marquee player standpoint, Kel, I don't think there will be much movement at all. I'd probably say if I had to give you one name, I would probably say Atlanta opens up the Paul Millsap sweepstakes again and probably move him. I would probably say he'll probably be the biggest name moved by the deadline this year.
Yo, is dude nice?
Um, he's a very solid player. He's not exciting. You know what, Kill? He's very similar to Al Horford. They're very efficient players for what they do, but you would never be like, yo, Fish, you want to go see the Atlanta Hawks game? I can't wait to see Paul Millsap. Like, he's not that player. He's going to give you 17, 18 points.
You want to know what's funny? Here's my second question.
What's
Is
up?
Al Horford nice? Because you said he's like Al Horford, but I'm like, yo, this is another board.
Al Horford does all the things that you don't have a box score stat for. So when you talk about pick and roll help defense, pick and roll offense, switching, those type of things that don't necessarily denote a stat, those are all the type of things that Al Horford brings to the table. He's an extremely efficient player. He can get his 14 to 15 points without necessarily running a lot of plays for him. Like I said, he won't be a flashy all-star, but he plays all-star level basketball. Paul Millsap is a very similar player. Like I said, he's going to give you that, 16 to 19 points on every given night. Is he capable of a 30-point game here or there? He is. He'll give you 8 or 9 rebounds. And every day he's going to play 38, 39 minutes. And you're not going to have no problems out of him. So okay. That's definitely what he brings to the table.
Quick question. Back to Cousins. If you're Sacramento, do you really want to resign this dude? I understand the talent. I understand all of that. But in re-signing him, if you're the GM, your understanding has to be, I'm going to have to include him in damn near every decision I make. As far as what coach, do you like this coach? Like signing him, I feel like is almost like having LeBron. Like how it's like LeBron is the GM. I feel like that's what you're gonna have to do with Cousins, or you're never gonna win. So number one, if you're the GM, do you want to resign Cousins? And two, do you agree with what I'm saying that you're gonna have to damn near allow him in the boardroom to say, okay, this is the coach we're thinking about bringing in. Do you think you can get along with him? This is the player we're thinking about trading for. Do you think you could get along with him? And I know he's a beast, but is it worth all of that?
I would never treat him until he brings a championship and puts a ring on my finger. He never gets ballroom status. However, I would definitely be mindful of him and hiring a new coach. I'll definitely say that. So hiring my new coach, I would definitely be mindful of DeMarcus Cousins. But no, players play, general managers make business decisions. So That's how I would treat him. Kill. Do you want to let a 6'11", 270-pound, 26-year-old averaging 28 points, 10 rebounds walk out the door for nothing? Do you want to be the GM to let that walk out the door?
I mean, I trade the ball. That if I'm the GM, I'm trading him because here's the thing: we've been losing the past 4 years with the nigga. We lose without. It's almost like a woman be like, I do damn by myself. Like you over here messing up my credit. I could do bad by myself. So it's not like Sacramento has been winning all these years and just on the cut. Yo, they suck. Don't nobody want to hoop for them. So I can suck with or without you.
They suck, but you just don't let talents like that.
No, and again, I'm not saying leave. I'm not saying walk out. I trade him. I'm getting something back for him. But
no, I'll be honest with you. I gotta try to make it work for him, Kel. I mean, it's been 6 years. He's been through what, 4 coaches? He's been through.
He could have been through 11 for all I know. It seemed like
I think
it's been 4. I think it was like 11.
Yeah, I think he's been through 4 coaches. So, I mean, at some point, I think the biggest problem with Cousins so far is instability within the organization that has allowed some of his bad habits and behavior to manifest. I think you bring stability to that organization. You know, I'm reaching out to a Jerry West or somebody, the senior advisor, to come in to hire that next young general manager with Jerry overseeing him, and then you try to make steps from there. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm like, nah, I'm getting him out of here, man. Dude is toxic. Yo, he's waiting to step to Sean. What's the boy name from the Spurs who's a commentator now? Sean Elliott.
Sean Elliott.
You're stepping to Sean Elliott. You're threatening reporters. Like, dude, you talk about Rondo being toxic. He's toxic. He's toxic with talent. You know what I mean? And like I said again, it's been 6 years. Like you said, you give me all the He's 6'11", he could do this, he could do that. Nigga can't win. He got Rudy Gay. I'm not saying he's a great player, but Rudy Gay, he had who was the point guard out of UCL, little dark skin boy, like Darren Collison. I'm saying he's had a great squad, but to be who you are, I gotta let the dude go. Like, he's not Shaq. He's not like this undeniable stopping force that's helping bring money in. So it's not even like you're popular. Like, at least with AI, you're toxic, but you're popular. You must see TV. You're selling jerseys. You're one of the most popular players in the NBA. He's none of those things. So I gotta let a boy like that.
If you want to trade him, I would treat you like and fleece him from you. That's what I would do.
You a fool. All right, jumping onto the NFL bandwagon real quick. The boy Antonio Brown, what he did with Mike Tomlin. What do you think about that, man?
I think that ranks right up there with D'Angelo Russell and the whole Iggy Azalea thing. I mean, first of all, I have so many issues with it. Let's start with the basic. Your coach is addressing the team. Why aren't you fucking listening to your coach?
After a big playoff win.
After a big playoff win, like you're more concerned about your Facebook posts. Like, your coach is trying to address the team at the big win. That should be your prime. So I didn't understand that piece of it. And then it wasn't like he gave you like a small vignette. Apparently, it was like a 25-minute Facebook Live post.
Right.
So it's like, come on, man. Like, it's just. But then the flip side of the coin is, he's not just any old dude. Like, he's probably the best wide receiver in football. A tour de force of talent, skill, hard work, and determination. So, you're trying to balance. It would be the equivalent of Kawhi Leonard doing this for Pop. It's like, damn, dude, like, what I mean? Why are you doing this? But it's Kawhi Leonard. Like, he is the best dude on the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's almost like it's a similar situation. But, I mean, now, as a result of this, you are hearing rumblings and grumblings about, his diva behavior and attitude and mentality. So I do believe the Steelers may be looking to move on from him and his contract situation is unresolved right now. So there's definitely a lot of things behind the scenes as well.
All right, cool. So who you got in the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl, I'm going to go with New England beating the Steelers, and I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers beating the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Packers Falcons game must watch TV. It's going to be a high scoring game. I'm looking at close to maybe 90 points being put up combined by both teams. I can definitely see a 40-36 type game. I can honestly see either team winning, but I think Aaron Rodgers is on fire right now. He's the best quarterback in football, and in the playoffs, that's what you want. You want to be the hot team with the best player on the field, and they have that.
So who you got winning the whole thing?
As much as it pains me, I got New England winning it all, and Roger Goodell will have to stand there and hand Tom Brady the championship trophy, which is going to be priceless for me.
Right. And I'm the flip. I got Pittsburgh over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. You know,
wow.
I'm probably betting with my heart because I love Mike Tomlinson so much. It's so funny. My man was like, why do you root for the Steelers after the Eagles lose? Is it a Philly, Pennsylvania thing? And I was like, nah. When I was growing up, my grandmother is the one who got me into football, and I would ask her, and she'd be like, you root for the black coach. Like,
no.
Sure. You always root for the black coach. After your team goes down, whoever's the black coach or then black quarterback, that's who you root for. So, and
I mean, black coaches are few and far between. So there's definitely Mike Tomlin is definitely a trailblazer coming behind Tony Dungy and what he's been able to do in Pittsburgh has been great. He's definitely opened up the doors for other black coaches behind him, and obviously Lovie Smith and Marvin Lewis and some other guys who've also had success. But the reality is, the 32 or so teams, I'll probably say only 5 or so have minority coaches.
Right.
In a league that is probably 60-70% minority, is definitely a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, a lot of work to be done. We got to get you out here, get you out to that new African American museum, man.
Yeah, I got to do that. I mean, just put up the bat symbol, man. I'll be there.
Man, them tickets is hard to come by, man. I think they sold out till May.
Yeah, I heard about that. Here's a tough ticket. So, well, hey, switching topic a little bit. You live in the D.C. area. Will you be going out for the inauguration?
Yeah, I got my tickets, man. I got my tickets. You ain't know I was DJing. I'm DJing inauguration. D-Nice, Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, like 150 other DJs were ahead of me. But, I got the call yesterday that, I'm going to be DJing. I'm DJing everything. I'm in DJing inauguration. I'm the only sellout who would do it. So I'm doing the inauguration. I'm doing the dance later that night. I'm doing everything for the inauguration week. Hell no, I ain't going to that shit, man. I ain't doing nothing like that. I'm boy
Rasheed Wallace, man. Cut that check, brother.
Yo, I'm Chrisette Michelle on my shit list now. She's supposed to be performing, man. I'm like, you know what? It's like 3,000 said, man. Because the first thing when I heard Chrisette, I'm like, come on, shorty, you supposed to be like the Dread Howard, down to earth chick, and you selling out. But like 3,000 said, is everybody with dreads for the cause? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing too, though. You don't know what type of stand an artist like that might make through her performance also. So you just gotta wait and see.
That's you being optimistic. Like you gonna sing 2 songs and that's it. So the bigger thing is there's this forgive me for my ignorance for not knowing folk out there, but there's a march the next day, which is a woman's march. And my people just hit me that Maxwell and I think Janelle Monáe will be performing at that. So I'm sure there'll be a hell of a whole more people on Saturday than Friday. But, it's crazy that a women's march could get Maxwell and the president could only get Chrisette Michelle, who hasn't had a hit out for about 6 years. But, yeah, that's part of the game, bro. But, nah, I ain't rocking with that, man.
All right. Just checking.
Yeah. You always got to check in. But, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. So, yo, as always, man, another dope show. I know you're not on
Yes, sir.
But.
I'm on Twitter. I sent out. Man, I might have sent out. This might have been a career week for me in tweets. I might have put out about 10 tweets this week, but I'm trying to get my game out. So DT Fisher 92, get at me.
You already know it is with me. Kill 889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. Real quick, bruh. Yo. I rented, and I didn't want to see this. T wanted to see this. She wanted to go to the movies.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way I'm paying to see this shit in the movies. I didn't want to pay to see it on pay-per-view. We rented Kevin Hart's new comedy special.
Okay.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen, bro. I didn't laugh one time. I laughed more at the stupid intro with Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle made me laugh more in his 2 minutes. Halle Berry actually made me snicker. Dog, dude is done. And I mean, not done because there are two dones. There's the you're done, you can't get a job. And then there's you're done, folk ain't feeling you, but you'll still keep making money. Dog, I think Kevin, I mean, if he would have done that same stand-up as a nobody at the Improv or the comedy club down on South Street, he would have got booed off stage, man.
I think more so than he's done. I think you're just fatigued. He's just, just like with everything in our society, he was the hot dude, and then a slew of movies came right after that. And unfortunately, a slew of movies came where Kevin Hart was just playing Kevin Hart.
But
it was the same.
It just wasn't funny. Like, that's the thing. Like, my man helped me understand that. He was like, yo, Kev's movies ain't funny, but his stand-ups are hilarious. And I grant that. The stuff he was doing back in the day, and even the last one that was in the movies about, talking to pigeons and you gotta lie to your girl, I felt like that was even kind of funny. But this, I feel like the jokes are just now being, because just thinking about that, he was talking about you can't lie to your girl, tell her you were feeding pigeons. Then on this one, he talking about you can't lie to your girl, saying you playing ping pong. I feel like it's not just being tired of dude. It's just like dude just doesn't have any more material. I don't know who his writers are. I don't know what it was, but I mean, T fellas.
Well, he shouldn't have writers.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard all comedians do. I did a show on that, like, a comedians, the new MCs, like, but people would tell me Richard Pryor had writers. Paul Mooney was one of his writers. So I'm like, damn, now comedians got ghost writers. First Drake, now this. But so, well, whatever it is, the joint wasn't funny, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if he'll sell out a football stadium again, which was huge. It's great that he's making history. It's great that he shot it in Philly. But, yeah, bro, I didn't laugh one time, man. Not once.
Well, being as though you're our resident hater, I'm not surprised.
I'm not a resident hater. You know that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was just like I said, I think people have Kevin fatigue. Yeah, you bringing up on me. Hold on, you frozen on me. Yeah, you good?
Good? Yeah.